Thank you very much, Tim. Good evening, everyone. My name's Andy Ruffell. Some of you probably know me as Ruffs. Some maybe recognise me from the first Bavard bar that I was privileged enough to come along to. Can I say that at that first evening, I wasn't sure what to expect, but because I've never done anything like it before, but I was completely mesmerised by the speakers, as I have been tonight. I think speakers that have come before me tonight have been amazing. Probably not going to be in their calibre, so I'm really sorry about that. But do you know what? I'm going to do my best, and I am passionate about what I'm going to talk about. Please bear with me. That first evening got me to thinking, sitting there, I was thinking, well, what is passion? Have I got one? I think most people that know me would probably answer the second bit of that in a yes. And I've got something written down here that I looked in the Oxford English Dictionary, and it says that passion is any state of the mind in which is affected by something external, such as perception or desire. Mine, I think, is a little bit different to that. Mine is almost a compulsion to carry out an act that, while challenging in its nature and may be difficult, that I'm sure some of you will find odd, at the very least, I find rewarding, life-affirming, and has led on to other passions, which is an interesting thing, in that one passion can lead on to other passions and other activities that we enjoy. So it's something that I do enjoy. It's something that is a challenge. It's something that my inner self, I think, if that doesn't sound too anal, gets some enjoyment from. Put simply, my passion is running. I love to run. It's what I do. It's what I've always done. It's what I know. It sounds simple. It is simple, but I, again, personally think that there's a bit more to it. So my journey started as a 12-year-old boy, and it was in the early 80s, and there was a bit of a running boom going on, and I'd always loved sport, but I was a bit shit. I played football with two left feet. The only trouble being is that I'm right-footed. Hand-eye coordination is not great, if I'm honest. So racket sports were not a strong point. But I loved it. I've always had an interest in sport and the I suppose the active world. So I lived in a town called Helsham, so 7 miles inland from here, roughly. I'm Sussex born and bred, and they were putting on in the early 80s running boom, they were putting on a fun run, which was advertised as being 9 miles. It was always, to be honest, it was always a little bit short, but anyway, we'll call it 9 miles. So I started running, and after a few training runs, I went for a run around the block from where I lived, 2 miles or so, and it wasn't first couple of runs weren't great, but it got better. What I also found as I was running is that I was actually enjoying what I was doing, and I was enjoying being outside, and I was enjoying being active. To give you an idea, at my school, and I went to something that's now rather grandly called Hailsham Community College. Back in the day, when I was there, and politically correct terms weren't around and hadn't come along yet, it was called Battle Road School. And I did an interform, it was called, cross country every year. Now, in that interform cross country, in the first year, when I was shit, I think I came something like 85th or whatever out of about 100. So I beat not very many. By the time I'd left, I came second or third, because I quickly found that actually, surprisingly, probably to everybody and including myself, I actually did have a little bit of talent at running, and it was something I could do. And the more I trained and the harder I ran, the quicker I got, and the more I trained and the quicker I got. So that lasted until I was about early 20s, and I finished my education, and I'd done my A-levels, and I got a job, and I met a girl, and we got married, and we bought a house, and the house needed a lot of work done to it, and that took some time, and obviously the job took a bit of time, and the girl took a bit of time, and I stopped running. Then after we got married, sadly my wife enjoyed, or probably more accurately endured, some reasonably considerable ill health, and she had need to be hospitalised and have surgery, various things. So time was not a luxury that we enjoyed in the early years of our marriage, unfortunately. So running went by the by. Other things were more important, obviously. So I didn't run. And I stopped. And if you'd asked me when I was 27, 28, would I ever run again? I'd have probably said no. My running days were something I enjoyed, something I was reasonably okay at, but something that I probably wouldn't enjoy again. After, I'm pleased to say that my wife's treatment, and we're still married, and it's a marriage that I still very much enjoy today. Thank you. After, or towards the end of my wife's treatment, I guess, I remember we were driving on a reasonably newly opened Cross Levels Way. The next bit was that memorable that I can even remember where we were. My wife, I think I was driving, I probably bloody nearly crashed the car, because she said, I think I'd like to join a gym. Now, if I just position that for a second, my wife is someone that tells me that at school she bunked off PE in junior school. So not even in secondary school, she was bunking off PE in junior school. So the sporting world and the active world she didn't quite share the same passion for it, but I did. So anyway, we joined aforementioned gym, and I went along, and I went for my induction, as those gyms like to do, and this fella stuck me on the treadmill and said, "Do you reckon you can run for 5 minutes?" and do you reckon you can run at this speed? So I said, well, let's give it a go. So I did. And then I kept going back to the gym, and after a few sessions, I thought, do you know what? This is all right. Maybe a little bit of the old magic is still in the legs, and a little bit of the old magic is still there. So then I thought, well, maybe I'll go back to my old running club, Helsham Harriers, and with not inconsiderable trepidation, I went along one Tuesday night, and a couple of the coaches there, one who is a immensely scary but immensely lovely lady, said, there's a face we recognise from the past. Paul's just laughed, he knows who I'm talking about. I won't name any names, but he knows who I'm talking about. And I thought, God, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Well, in the years that have passed, I now know it was a very good thing. But I quickly got involved in the training sessions, and I trained hard, and I got quicker, and the quicker I got, and the further I ran, the further I wanted to run, and the faster I wanted to become. And I made friends with people, some of whom are sitting in this room, some of whom are great friends and will be friends for the rest of my life, I know that. We worked hard, we had a really, really good group of runners, and the harder I worked, the harder they worked, so the harder I worked, so the harder they worked, and we got quicker and we got better. And then, again, one Sunday, I remember hearing about this group that ran on the South Downs on a Sunday morning, and I thought, and one week I got invited to join them, and that felt like a real, maybe I'm doing all right. And the South Downs are, to me, and that's the catalyst for this story really, the South Downs for me and running on them are everything. I love them, and they're tough, and the hills are unrelenting, and the miles are unrelenting, but they're beautiful. And some days there's weather up there, and on some days people, there are a few here that would hopefully agree with me, but there's plenty of weather up there. Some days there's almost even too much weather up there, but you know, you still enjoy it, and the Downs to me are beautiful on every day. Beauty takes different forms. I went for a run a couple of weeks ago from Neil to where I live at Buttsbrow, and I looked across and I could see Dungeness Power Station. So 50-60 miles away in Kent. I went for a run with Tim on Sunday, and at times I could barely see my own feet. But the Downs were still beautiful. So that was important, and has become more so. That down and running led me on to something called the South Downs Relay. Now that's an event that's close to my heart. It's an event that takes place this Saturday. I'm not running this year, I'm driving the bus. But there are two people sitting in this room that are running. So let me explain what the South Downs Relay is. You start in Eastbourne, you finish in Winchester. It's 100 miles. You will get there in the same day. A team of 6 will take part. The South Downs Way, running over the hills, is split into 18 legs. Each runner will run 3 times in the same day, but not consecutively. each runner will run somewhere between 15 and 20 miles, depending on the lengths of the leg they're selected at. Some of them are a little hilly, most of them are a little hilly. But it's a great day. It's the best day of my year. It really is. Now, over the years, I've been lucky enough to have a little success at this event, and the time I had the most success was in 2009. We weren't the best team, we weren't the youngest team. I was probably the youngest runner in the team. I was almost certainly the youngest runner in the team. At the time I was 39 years old. If anyone's paying attention, you now know how old I am tonight. My recollection of that day is that we had the most incredible day. And sometimes when you're running really, really well, you almost don't feel like your feet hit the ground. That day, my feet didn't touch the ground. I ran really, really well. But what's more, everyone in my team ran really, really well. And when you run, and it's 5 or 6 miles, you get 2 or 3 hours off. You then run 5 or 6 miles, you get 2 or 3 hours off. You then get kicked out the bus for the third go. And it probably is kicked out the bus, and you think, shit, what do I do now? But you know what? The bit in the back of your mind goes, or the bit in the back of my mind goes, the fellas in that bus would give everything for me. It's time for me to give everything for them. And that's what keeps me going. And there's that little bit of your mind, and this is where some of the passion comes from as well. Our ability to achieve something, whatever that is, whatever field you do it in, is largely only rivaled by our ability to doubt that we are capable of aforementioned achievement. If you can block out that little voice in the back of your mind, you're doing all right. Some days it's easier than others. But anyway, we came second overall, probably beating younger teams, probably beating more talented teams. But that to me was a really, really good day. Over the years I've done lots of other events, 5Ks, 10Ks, racewalks, what a bloody stupid event that is. I've thrown the javelin, I've done the high jump, I've done the long jump, I've done the triple jump, I've run marathons, I've done some really stupid things over the years with some people, again here tonight, and they really are great friends. What that's led on to, I think, is I'm now, as Tim said, I'm now the chairman of Helsham Harriers, and it's a role that I'm immensely, immensely proud of, and it's a club that I'm immensely, immensely proud of. I think there's a, I don't know what the right stigma, I don't know if that's the right word, around joining a running club, in that people think they have to be able to run at a certain pace or run a certain distance before coming along. I would say absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. Come along, we will look after you. Enjoy what we do. Enjoy what you do. Enjoy what we are all capable of. Try not to doubt too much, but you are capable of it. There's an old saying in the running community that a 5-minute mile or a 15-minute mile, still a mile. Still a mile. And if you can give your best in whatever field you choose to give it in, I think that deserves respect. It also probably deserves pride in yourself. how many of us are that good at that. On these runs that I've done, and sometimes the runs, can I say, I think the run we did, Tim, last Sunday, sometimes the miles go past quickly, sometimes almost too quickly, because you have such a great time with the people that you are running with. There is much hilarity, there really is. There's much put in the world to rights, and sometimes solving one or two personal problems as well, that might crop up along the way. Tim came out with a great line, and I had this all written out a while ago, but I had to get this in here. Tim came out with a great line in the car on the way back on Sunday, and we were talking. It's not so much putting the world to rights that's difficult. It's knowing who we post the letter to. And we decided that it would take us a lot longer to decide on that than it would do on what the world's problems are. So, yeah, I can't do better than that. So, that's more or less me done, except to say that yes, the great outdoors are there. Please go and enjoy them. Please notice what we have around us. I firmly believe that we live in a beautiful part of the world. Sometimes it's easy to take it for granted because it's only beautiful if we notice that it's beautiful. The passions, my passion now, the passions that my passion has led on to, if I can say that, are that I want my club, our club, to be a club that welcomes everyone and helps them achieve what their goals and ambitions are, whatever they might be. Yeah, and I just want people to enjoy the sport, enjoy the great outdoors in the same way that I do. I honestly think that doing what I do, because it is, sometimes it's challenging, and you have to believe that you can achieve something before you can achieve it. So it gives you a strong mind. Again, something I'm deeply passionate about is education, but not necessarily in its most standard format. Don't ever stop learning, whatever age you're at. I try and learn something every day. Whatever age you're at, we sit our exams at 16 and 18 and 21 and whatever. But why do we have to have that time limit? Let's keep learning. Let's keep pushing ourselves, challenging ourselves in every way. I'm passionate about that. So I'm still passionate about lots of things, and as I say, my passion has led on to other passions, I believe. I am going to shut up now because you're all probably bored of my voice. I would just like to say that thank you for indulging me and my passions tonight. I think a huge thanks goes to Tim and his team for putting on the Bavard Bar. It's an amazing thing. I can't find the words to describe exactly how I feel about it. But you've listened to mine. Please let me listen to yours, because trust me, I would love to listen to your passions. Thank you and good night.
Well, that's just brilliant. I'm very moved now. But mean, that was fantastic, Russ. Thank you. So, I mean, there was passion oozing from every pore, I think. There. So I know that people are going to have some questions for Ruffs and all of those passions that he has. Well, in fact, actually, I know that some years ago I was cycling the South Downs Way, and I was coming from Winchester back to Eastbourne, and I remember cycling along with a bunch of guys, and I saw this person running with a baton, and I nearly fell off thinking, that guy's got a baton, what the hell is he doing on this thing? And this Saturday I will be holding that baton as a result of this man here, so I know what that's about now. And in the room, actually, we have someone who has cycled the South Downs Way twice in under 24 hours, which is also a feat.
That's a hell of a feat.
Yeah. But does anybody have any questions? Well, running or yes, no.
This isn't really about you. I wanted to know if your wife kept going to the gym.
She does. My wife it does go to the gym. She is a very active member of the running club that I am chairman of. We are doing another really stupid event in 2 weeks' time. So Tim's doing a stupid event on Saturday, and the following Saturday I'm doing a stupid event in a team of 5 with my wife. She's one of the team, and we will run for 24 hours. So we start in Reading on Saturday morning at 12 o'clock, and we run 5-mile loops as a team, taking it in turns to run, and we stop on Sunday morning at 12 o'clock. Last year our team of 5 managed 145 miles in the aforementioned 24-hour period. So yes, she does, and yes, she's well, and yes, she's very active, which, if you'd told me that when I met her, I wouldn't have ever believed.
Brilliant. Yeah. Yes.
Is there one event that you'd like to do, like New York Marathon or something like that you haven't yet ticked off?
Only one. The event I'd like to do, again, fun enough, it is a conversation we had on Sunday. If I could only ever run one more race, and run one more race well, South Downs White Relay, every single day. I've been lucky enough. I'd love to do the New York Marathon. I have been lucky enough to do the London Marathon on 3 separate occasions. It is a great day. The people are amazing. The crowds are supportive beyond belief. I always describe the London Marathon as something that you're not allowed to fail in. The crowd won't let you fail. Random strangers will not let you fail. However, the South Downs Relay for me is the best day of the year. So if I could only do one again, I'll have more of the same, thanks.
Any other questions? It was Ruffs, by the way, who suggested after the first Bavard bar here that we should start jingling on the Western Lawns, I think.
It was, yes. It'd be almost infamous.
Which we are working on, I think.
We are. It is an event that we'd like to put on.
Yes.
Yeah, Ruffs, you said that you stopped running for Helsham Harriers and you took a break, and then you came back to Helsham Harriers. Was there any one event that made you go back to Helsham Harriers? Maybe you were working one particular day at the bank and someone came in or something like that?
So earlier on tonight, Paul's son Mike was our first speaker tonight, and I believe I may have made reference that showing off showed that he was clearly his father's son. I work for Lloyds Bank, and I have done for a lengthy period of time, and I still do. One day I was serving on the counter, not something that I particularly ever enjoyed, and not something that I do very regularly, but we were not blessed with great staffing levels that day. And this gentleman came in, a Mr. P. Eccles. And I thought, I remember that name from the Eastbourne Herald, and I happened to say to this gentleman for whom I was cashing a cheque at the time, "Are you Paul Eccles for runner? I'm thinking of joining Helsham Harriers again." That may be what Paul was just referencing.
It was
Brilliant. Have we got any more questions for Ruffs? In which case, I mean, Ruffs has said everything I could say, I think, and more in terms of what the Bavard Bar is about and what we're trying to get going here. The crowd tonight is obviously smaller than we had at the first night, but these things do take a bit of momentum. And so if you do like it, the plan is, Chris, we're back here, I think, on the first Thursday of every month, so July and August, etc. And I will be doing my best to get the word out, promote the event around Eastbourne. Sleepy Eastbourne, but anything that you can do to assist in spreading the Bavard Bar word, and so we can keep it going and hear, as Rob said, hear about each other's passions and sharing what we do would be fabulous. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you to Ruffs for speaking, to Mel for sharing their steps and speaking, brilliant, and to Mike for sharing his passion for amateur dramatics. Thank you again, and thank you to all of you for coming. So thank you very much.